magic in the air, wands roll around us, cast away our care. Friends in the hallways, adventures we find, spells and enchantments, trouble on our mind. That's so wizards, oh, 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 oh. Life is a spell we know. We're casting joy and glow, oh, oh. That's a wizard show. Mischief in the classroom, potions gone astray, flying through the quad, now brighter every day. Laughter we cry hard, sneaking out at night, cloaks in the moonlight, everything feels right. That's so wizards, oh, 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 oh. Life is a spell we know. We're casting joy and glow, oh, oh. That's a wizard show.
Yeah, I don't believe it either. You gotta laugh, because if not, you're just gonna cry. So remember that book that Wizards of the Coast made many years ago, back when it had a different name, back in the time of a simpler time, before the dark times, before the Empire, when they made a book called Oriental Adventures. And remember when they said, oh, we never made that book because we're ashamed of that book, because that book was filled with racism and colonization and racial appropriating and totally unfair to the people of Asia, despite the fact that it was written by, play tested, and consulted on by Asian people. And I don't know a single Asian person who's ever said that book insulted them, but no, it was a very insulting, racist book. Connie Chang and Mackenzie Diams have let us know that hundreds of thousands of times, and we're never going to do anything like that again. We promise. We'll never do anything racist or inappropriate. We certainly won't covertly announce on LinkedIn that Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro has made a deal with the Hasbro Wizards of the Coast Japan to release an adventure called Oni's Right Hand, but it's only releasing in Japan right now, so you can't get it in America on D&D Beyond yet. Not that it won't be available, because we know people are going to pirate it and copy it and make it available for anybody who wants it. But yeah, LinkedIn is the first site I think of when I think D&D, you know. So the adventure is called Oni's Right Hand. It is a Oriental adventure, but it's not set in Rokugan or Karatur. No, it's set in Phandelin, home of Mines of Phandelin, the single best 5e adventure that Wizards of the Coast made, as long as you ignore the sequel or them ignoring the 14-year-long story buildup of the Black Obelisk. But yeah, Phandelin, you know, Mines of Phandelin, the single best 5e product made, is only be released in Japan, because we know how huge D&D is in Japan, in that it's not. Because they have their own version of Dungeons and Dragons, plus dozens of other JRPGs, plus Call of Cthulhu, which is huge over there. But no, it's taking place not in Rokugan, not in Karatur, but in Phandelin. And it involves a cursed glove called the Oni's Claw, which for some reason arrives in Phandelin. I guess this takes place after Mines. And then shenanigans happen. Set in the bustling town of Phandelin, a cursed glove from the east arrives. And when the sealed Oni Claw is unleashed, eerie monstrous shadows begin to creep into town. The campaign features 5 original Japanese-style characters from Kara-Tur, complete with pre-generated character sheets designed by renowned illustrator Tokashaki Takamura and D&D translator Masaki Yanagag, and brought to life by popular voice talents including Anya Takasoko and Tamura Kasunaoki. I'm sure I got every one of those name rhymes. The response from the Japanese fans has been overwhelmingly positive. Not the Japanese fans that we, talk to in Japan, but the Japanese fans who we talk to around here. Yeah. Now, I don't know why it has voice actors, unless they're going to be something digital audio with it, or they voice actors help pose for the characters. Like Vecna's hand. No, I think it's just like a glove. And as these are the characters. Easily, totally not racist, totally not inappropriate, totally not we're stealing other people's cultures, characters. We've got human girl, elven archer, samurai. We've got human girl, ninja thief. We've got half-orc monk. Wait, but what? There are no half-orcs anymore in D&D. So he must be an Oni. An Oni. See, that way we can have half-orcs without saying they're half-orcs. Just like we can have ogres and ogre magi and all the other things that we said we'd never put back in the game by simply calling them Oni. Because Oni's a thing in Japan, right? And there's pretty much an Oni for everything in Japan, right? So we just call this guy an Oni because there's no half-orcs anymore in D&D. And then we've got a tiefling spellcaster because, of course, we have a tiefling spellcaster. At least there's no elves in bikinis in this thing. I guess she's an elf, maybe, but she's not in a bikini. And then, of course, we got old man sitting on, Master Oki. Looks like a gnome, maybe? A gnome, shaman, druid. I don't know. We got to have the old man. We got to have the old man, wise man. Tomoko-san, you've come to train again in the ancient art of Kung Fu. So, yeah. I guess there's some excitement for it. It'd be interesting to see how they totally botch this. But after years and years and years of telling us they would never, ever do anything like this again because it's just racially inappropriate, they did it. But okay, because they snuck it under the wire by announcing it on LinkedIn. And I'm sure we'll get more information as time goes by in regards to why voice actors are involved. Were the voice actors used as the models for the characters? Will there be an audio to go with it? Like maybe you scan a barcode and it goes to an audio on D&D Beyond? Don't know, because we're never going to see it in America until we see it in America, either via pirating, or then Wizards says, oh no, we put it on D&D Beyond. Surprise! Because God forbid Wizards can ever keep anything straight. Yeah, I know. Why play fake Japanese D&D when you can play the games that are in Japan, designed for the Japanese audience that actually understand the culture, that do the same thing? Because they've got dozens of them, from Fabula Ultima to Sword World, which just recently celebrating its 20th anniversary, to a whole bunch of others. And of course, they have Call of Cthulhu. And of course, they have all the JRPGs, which I don't even know half the names of, but I know there's a lot. Golden Sky Stories. So they've got games. Now, I don't know how big D&D is in Japan. I mean, of all the Japanese, YouTubers and channels I watch, other than Iron Mouse occasionally mentioning it, and she sort of plays a weird D&D game that isn't really D&D with somebody. But yeah, I mean, it's not that big in Japan. It's, there's other role-playing games that are bigger, and it's more of a video game culture than a tabletop role-playing culture in Japan. But the games that are big, it's not D&D, because they have their own D&D, which is better. And they've got Fabula Ultima and Golden Sky Stories. But hey, who here is excited to see a Dungeons and Dragons 5e product in 2025, embracing the cultural diversity of Japan and bringing back half-orcs? Yeah! Wizards, you silly, silly sausage. I don't know. Just I can't make these things up. I mean, of all the things I thought that they'd ever say, hey, we're going back to Oriental Adventures. Like, nope. Nope. Oriental Adventures was not on my bingo list, but far be it from me to not continuously be surprised by Wizards of the Coast's amazing ability to fail forward and not understand the target audience at all, and yet still somehow make money. Don't know. It's magic. Maybe they sacrificed to an Oni some in the past. It's just yeah. I mean, at least we got half-orcs back, sort of. I guess, kind of. Don't know. What can you say, but?
Lands in the hallways, adventures we find. Spells and enchantments, trouble on our mind. Friends in the hallways, adventures we find. Spells and enchantments, trouble on our mind. Friends in the hallways, adventures we find, spells and enchantments trouble on our minds. Friends in the hallways, adventures we find, spells and enchantments trouble on our minds. Mischief in the classroom, potions gone astray, flying through the quad, now brighter every day. Laughs so we cry,